Portland, are you ready to have some fun? Woo! You're going to love the next speaker then. For now, you're stuck with me, and we're going to have an unexpected conversation. I'm going to ask you to question things you know are true, see the world in a different way, and ultimately, I'm going to ask you to cheat. Let's start off with some unexpected things about me. I'm Latino. Give it a second. It'll come to you. An economist and a recovering banker. Basically, I could never be on the show Portlandia. Not happening. I'm also the father to a severely anaphilophobic daughter. Say it with me, anaphilophobic. It means she's deathly afraid of mosquitoes. And I often say I was born to live in Portland, as I came into this world literally moments after the Portland Trailblazers won their first and only championship on June 5th, 1977. My adult life has been spent in banking, finance, and venture capital, helping people with loans, advice, and sometimes tears, who are brave enough to hang their own shingle and take on the little guy. Portland's a small business town, home to a nonprofit brew pub, a professional snuggler, and where, it's true. And where berries, barbecue, and baked beans are a flavor of ice cream. In fact, 83% of businesses in Portland have less than 10 employees. And emerging small companies like Wildfang, whose fearless leader you're going to hear shortly, that are less than 5 years old, account for more than 90% of jobs in the United States. Small is who we are. Now, one of the most amazing stats I've come across comes to us from the U.S. Census Bureau, who said in 2012, Portland was home to more than 4,000 black businesses, and that these businesses had annual revenues of more than $440 million. This isn't what you read about in the Atlantic or what you see at local area meetups. I realize our growing economic, entrepreneurial ecosystem was disconnected from this growing group of black founders. And in order to dismiss the generally accepted truth of the disappearing black business, I figured, how could I be a bridge between the two? So in 2015, I created the event Pitch Black. It puts black entrepreneurs front and center while also connecting them to the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Portland. We've been covered by the Portland Business Journal, Wired, and TechCrunch as a way to stimulate innovation and get innovation going in underserved communities. This year, we're going on the road. We're going to DC, Seattle, Austin, and other cities across the country. Imagine that, the country's whitest city leading the way in how to support black folks. Sometimes small gives you the room to do really big things. Now, in all my years doing finance, I'm often asked, Stephen, what's the biggest deal you've ever done? And though I've done mixed-use projects with tens of millions of dollars in financing, my answer is always the same. Mr. Howard's $20,000 loan. See, he's a contractor, and when we met 12 years ago, he was homeless, living in his van, out of state, trying to find a way to get back to his native Portland with his head held high. He had an opportunity to work on one floor of a 30-story building here in town. And if he could get that floor done, he had the opportunity to work on the rest of the floors. The only thing standing in his way was the $20,000 he needed to complete that first floor. Mr. Howard's beaming smile and passion led me to turn over every rock, call in every favor. And in the end, over tears and hugs, we were able to sign the documents to allow him to seize his opportunity. Mr. Howard's no longer homeless, and his company does millions of dollars in projects each year. Small was my biggest deal ever. Now, I've given you a couple cool stats, and you may have heard some of those, as well as a heartwarming story or two. But what's in it for you when it comes to small? Now, these cities have become the identities of these businesses have become the identities of our cities. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you'll see I love to take me some selfies at all of my favorite small businesses around town. But how weird would it be to see a selfie like this one? Now, this goes beyond getting likes or followers. These are the landmarks we use to describe our neighborhoods. These are the places that we go to spend our most precious moments. In fact, they are the original social network. Now, I've given you a few cool stats. You may have heard those before, as well as a heartwarming story or two. But what's in it for you when it comes to small? Yes. A recent study by Baylor University looked at over 3,000 counties across the country. They use U.S. Census data along with statistics from the Center for Disease Control. And they found that the counties with the most small businesses actually had a longer life expectancy and lower rates of diabetes and obesity. I don't think this is a surprise at all. We're relational beings, and living in proximity to other people where we can have authentic relationships means we will live longer, happier lives. You may think it's banks that are the ones that help these businesses. After all, Portland's home to one of the greatest banks in the country, Umpqua, who thinks so highly of small businesses that they have a website just to put them in the spotlight. They also do their part when it comes to lending. In 2015, they did $26 million in small business loans alone in 1 year. But I bet you didn't know this. Portlanders do that same dollar amount every 2 days on food, entertainment, and apparel alone. Every 2 days. Your small contribution is big. Now, you spending your money is really important, but where you spend it may be the biggest thing of all. Let's take coffee. When you buy your morning mocha at Starbucks, roughly 10 cents of each dollar stays in town. The rest goes off to other parts of the country and world. But when you buy that same mocha at a local coffee shop, like Deadstock Coffee, almost 50 cents of each dollar stays in town, going to a marketing consultant, bookkeeper, or architect. Now, you're not a douchebag if you shop at Starbucks. They're a great company. I just want you to realize the power that your money has and the impact you can have in your own city just from walking in a different door. When you came in here today, I bet you thought it was banks that had the power to support small businesses. Turns out, it's you. My kids and I were watching the Discovery Channel last week, and on came the show with the 10 deadliest animals in the world. It had all the usual suspects that you fear the most when you're walking on a forest trail, including the grizzly bear, who, after being described, they gave the disclaimer that it wouldn't help to run or climb a tree because they can do that better than you. And one fail swipe of their claws can tear a man in half. As I got to number 1 on the list, the narrator said, responsible for more deaths each year than animals 2 through 10 combined is the mosquito? The mosquito? It turns out my daughter's not anaphylophobic after all. She actually understands how small is so big. Now, small is the last word you wanted to hear today. After all, TED's about great, gigantic ideas that have the ability to cure cancer, end world hunger, or make you laugh until you wet your pants. From people with a bunch of letters after their names. I'm not that speaker. And you know what? Big is overrated. Small is doable. People don't make small goals. They dream big, but the work is small. I got some work for you today. My buddy Neil's a bodybuilder. He's a great big guy. And every day he loves to post his meals on Instagram. And normally they're bland and nothing you'd write to the Food Network about. But every so often he has a cheat day. And I'm talking 2 large pizzas with a milkshake chaser cheat day. I want to challenge you to have a cheat day, week, or month. Cheat on Amazon and buy the bedazzled Snuggie from a locally owned store. Cheat on Walmart and buy your groceries from a local grocer who more than likely knows the name of the person that grew the carrots that you bought. Or cheat on your Starbucks barista every Thursday and discover a mind-blowing mocha at a sneaker-themed coffee shop. Because when you invest small, you invest in the well-being of the community. And when you invest in the well-being of the community, you ultimately invest in your own health and strengthening the fabric of your city. You have more power than you know. Imagine how many more Mr. Howards we could help if we just cheat more. Your small contribution is big.